The Ultimate Husband. By Sky Kissing Wolf.
Episode 96. Only Daryl can save him now. Daryl, please, I beg you, save him. Megan said in distress. Daryl smiled gently. How? How would you beg? It has to be sincere. What do you mean? Megan asked lightly. How about, if you call me, my good brother, then I'll let him go, offered Daryl playfully. Megan's face flushed. She bit her lip in deep thought. This is the first time that anyone has ever requested this from her. She's usually high in seniority and rank that everyone refers to her as an elder sister. Kent could take this humiliation no longer. He was about to interrupt, but then he realized that his life is currently in Daryl's hand, so he swallowed his pride. If you're not going to do that, I'm going to go, chipped in Daryl jovially. At the same time, he thought, damn, this Megan is perfect in every way. It's such a waste that she's getting married to Kent. 2. Don't go. My good brother. Megan said softly. As her voice fell, she looked down with embarrassment. Okay, seeing how sincere you are, I'll agree to your request, said Daryl gleefully. Kent, though irked by that, sighed with relief. However, Daryl is not finished. He turned to Kent and said, I'm doing this on behalf of your fiancé. If it weren't for Megan calling me good brother, I'd have you kowtow to me in repentance. Fuck you, Daryl, watch it. Kent warned. Daryl shook his head in disappointment. He said, still as pompous as ever. All right, I'll leave you to it then. I reckon they are going to wake up anytime soon. I don't want to waste any time here with you. Kent panicked. He immediately cried out, Daryl, I'm so sorry. It was all my fault. You are all forgiving. Please forgive me. He seemed dejected, but thought, fuck you, Daryl, I'll get my revenge. Daryl chuckled and uncuffed Kent. They then headed towards the exit. It was extremely confusing that they got lost a few times. Half an hour later, they came to the exit. As they exit, they are faced with nothing but the sea. The Grandmaster Heaven cult branch is located below a cliff next to the sea. Megan took note of the location, then drove off in the minivan towards the city. When Daryl reached home, it was past midnight. Samantha and Lily are fast asleep. He went straight to the second-floor guest room as to not wake them up. He closed the door and immediately retrieved the manual he took from the Grandmaster Heaven cult. On the first page, it wrote, The ascension of the 9 dragons is the supreme mastery of the Grandmaster Heaven sect. Those who have mastered this have the powers to reach the sky. This secret book can only be practiced by the cult masters. Anyone who secretly practices this manual without authorization will be sentenced to death. This include the Yin and Yang messengers, as well as the 4 guardian kings. Skylar clearly must have stolen this manual, yet now it is in Daryl's hand. Daryl followed the chants on the manual and started practicing his cultivation. By the time he realized, it's already morning. Though he has not slept at all, he still felt energized and excited. He mastered the skills of the 9 dragons' ascension. The power of that is terrifying. Daryl stretched, kept the manual, and went out. He bumped into Lily. You're back, exclaimed Lily. She was wearing a short skirt today, extremely dazzling. Episode 97. Lily looked gloomy. What happened? Asked Daryl. He was happy to see Lily. Lily sighed. Grandma ordered for a family meeting. Daryl frowned. Another family meeting. Granny Linden seems to like family meetings a whole lot. What on earth does she want? I'll go with you, offered Daryl. It was only on the way when he found out the purpose of the meeting. Trent Young was arrested. He initially agreed to 20% of the Linden estate shares, but the deal did not go through. Many in the Linden family blamed Lily for this, as she was not willing to cooperate. People are selfish. If they had to pick between monetary gains or family, many would pick the former without any hesitation. Trent's actions were despicable. Everyone was mad at him yesterday, but at second thought, they, including Granny Linden, felt that Lily made a huge fuss over a minor issue. Today's meeting is clearly intended for Lily. What should I do? They will definitely reprimand me, asked Lily worriedly. Don't worry, you have me. Daryl comforted. Lily felt better. She thought back about how Daryl defended her yesterday by beating Trent up. That was truly touching. Then she thought, that's all he can do for her. He had no standing in the family, no whatsoever authority to speak. How can he help? Forget it, she will play by ear. Just when Lily is lost in her thoughts, she noticed Daryl took his phone and sent a message. When they arrived at the Lindens' residence, everyone was already there. Daryl, you dare show your face? William pointed at Daryl and yelled. Daryl replied coldly, why not? LF, you didn't beat Trent up yesterday, things wouldn't have spiraled out of control, scoffed William. The rest nodded in agreement. Yeah, it was just a small issue. Trent likes Lily, it's only normal if he flirts with her. Exactly, furthermore you are not worthy of our Lily. Lily being with Trent is the best outcome for everyone. It also does not hurt that we can sell off part of our estate shares, killing two birds with one stone. The rest chimed in. If you know what's good for you, you'd leave Lily, sneered William. People nowadays are so vile, how could they say such things? Daryl was irked. He replied, so according to you, if someone were to openly seduce your wife, you'd cheer them on. What did you say? William threatened. You can't even do it yourself, yet you expect of others, all for your gain. How shameless, sniggered Daryl. William was aghast. He wanted to punch Daryl but held back because he knows he would not be able to defeat him. So he turned to Lily instead. Lily, President Young came in good faith, but because of you, the deal couldn't come through. What should we do now? Reprimanded William. The rest chipped in angrily. Yes, you have to bear the responsibility. This has to do with the Lindens' future. It was a huge honor that President Young liked you, who are you to rebuff? Lily bit her lip hard. She was to the point of tears as she felt aggrieved but could not defend herself. Just then, Granny Linden finally spoke up, enough. She continued, Lily dear, I know you are very unwilling, but I thought long and hard last night. I feel that Trent is very compatible with you. So LVE decided that once he has been released 15 days later, we'll discuss you hand in marriage. Granny Linden looked at Daryl with detest, and said, you two should sign your divorce papers as soon as possible. No. Screamed Lily in tears. I'd rather die than marry Trent. Granny Linden stood up in anger and reprehended Lily. This is not for you to decide it. This has to do with our future, so I do not care how you feel about this. It is decided, you will marry Trent. Episode 98. Upon hearing Granny Linden's words, Lily shuddered in despair. William and the rest were gloating with excitement. They do not care about Lily's happiness. What truly matters is that they get to set up a new company with Trent's money. Daryl chuckled at the ongoing conversation. What are you laughing at? Granny Linden asked angrily. Daryl mocked, I'm laughing at this family. The great Linden family can't even manage their estate, yet they pushed the blame on a woman. What's even more pathetic is that, for the alleged future of the Lindens, you're willing to sacrifice even your granddaughter. Our family matters have nothing to do with you. Lily will only be happy with Trent, not with a loser like you, rebuked Granny Linden. Daryl took a deep breath, and continued, ultimately, you bunch are just upset that most of the Linden family shares are owned by other people. Just because you don't have the competence, you sell the women in your family out in exchange for your dignity. Being called out by a loser in public, Granny Linden could take it no longer. She screamed, get him out. I want him out. No one dared to move forward. They still remember how Daryl beat Trent up the previous day. This live-in son-in-law, he even dare hit Trent, who would dare to offend him. Lily tried to alleviate the situation. She tugged at Daryl's arm and pleaded, Daryl, stop talking. The only solution Lily could come up with now is to beg for forgiveness from Granny Linden personally, after the meeting. If she's sincere enough, maybe Granny Linden might change her mind. It would only make matters worse if one were to collide head-on in public, like Daryl. Daryl could understand Lily's thoughts. He brushed her hair and said gently, don't worry. You don't have to beg them for forgiveness. On the contrary, they will have to come to beg you instead. What? Us begging Lily for forgiveness? Is this a joke? Ha ha. Granny said nothing but frowned. Lily thought Darryl would take matters into his own hands by forcing them to apologize. She said, I know you're looking out for me, but you shouldn't only rely on brute force. Many are stronger than you have to remember that. At that moment, someone spoke up, Granny, President James of Dragon Tech is here. Everyone stood up quickly to greet him. Paul James of Dragon Tech is the biggest shareholder of Linden's estate. Of course, everyone would get up to greet him. Paul, in casual wear, was accompanied by two of his assistants. Grandma, we meet again, greeted Paul cheerfully. President James, what a surprise. What can we do for you? Granny Linden asked politely. The fate of the estate is in this man's hand, she has no choice but to show him respect. Paul chuckled, you're too kind, Grandma. Nothing special, just a small matter. Small matter? Everyone's curiosity was piqued. Paul turned to Lily, handed her a folder from his assistant, and said, Ms. Lily, sis-in-law, I am officially transferring 51% of the family shares to you. The process is complete, you just have to have a look and confirm. What? Sis-in-law. President James called her sis-in-law. Why did he transfer 51% of the shares to her? The amount of shares costs $1 billion. Suddenly the entire Linden family was dead silent. Episode 99. Paul James called her sis-in-law. Is Lily having an affair? Everyone was dumbfounded. Paul then walked up to Darryl and gave him a bow. Bro, if I had known sis-in-law was Lily, I wouldn't need to run an extra trip. Darryl said nothing but nodded. If there's nothing else, I'll make a move. Paul said, then left. Everything happened too fast, only when Paul left, the Lindens came to their senses. What on earth is going on? 51% of the shares now belong to Lily. Granny Linden stared at Lily in dismay. She wanted to remark, but was at a loss for words. Lily, on the other hand, was trembling. It was like a dream. She could no longer hid her curiosity. She asked Darryl, you and Paul? Just a friend. Darryl replied casually. He wanted to stop Lily from probing further. He added, I've got to go, if not I'll be late for work. Then he turned and left. In the car, he was slightly worried. He sent a text to Lily, hold on tight to the shares. Even if Granny Linden opens her mouth, don't give it to her. From now on, you make the call in the Linden estate. Lily, who was still stunned when she received the message, replied instantly, got it. After what happened just now, she finally sees her family for who they are. Now the shares in her hands are like an amulet protecting her. Of course, she won't hand it out that easily. Darryl let out a sigh of relief when he received Lily's message, then drove off. He had barely reached Platinum Corporation when his phone rang. It's from an unknown caller, but the number ends with 6 8s. After a short contemplation, he picked up. Hello, is this Mr. Darby? The caller sounded like a middle-aged man, with a low, baritone voice. Darryl frowned and asked, who are you? How did you get my number? The man chuckled and replied politely, Brandon Guy gave me your number. Brandon. According to him, he said, Mr. Darby, you have a magical godly pill that will help cultivators that are currently struggling to level up. I really need one desperately. Please name me your price, said the man. Bloody hell, though it's not difficult to make the pill, it's not like fruits that you can get it whenever. It still needs to be extracted. I only bought one clay jar, I could only make 2 or 3 pills per time. L previously made 2, I sold one to Brandon, one L gave to Kent Hoff, that bastard. I don't have any left. Even if I start the extraction process now, I still need a few hours, thought Darryl. He replied curtly, if you really want it, come find me again tomorrow. Though I don't think you can afford it. Darryl added. The man laughed. He said, don't worry, money is not an issue. How much are you planning to sell? I will make some preparations. 3 billion. Darryl said without hesitation. Previously he sold to Brandon for 2 billion, Brandon barely even bat an eye. Darryl felt that he had undersold. Of course, giving the pill to Kent was even much more of a loss. 3 billion, it's a deal. I'll contact Mr. Darby tomorrow. The man agreed without any indecisiveness, then hung up. Whoa. Agreeing to $3 billion without any uncertainty, is he crazy, thought Darryl. Nearing his office, he saw Pearl, his secretary, approaching him. President, there are 2 guests in your office. They have been waiting for quite a while now. Pearl said. Guests? Darryl frowned and walked in. The moment he entered, he tensed. What followed was immense joy and excitement. His father, Daniel Darby, and his mother, Luna Shaw, a middle-aged couple in plain, simple clothes, sat on the office couch. Dad, Mom, why are you here? Episode 100. 3 years ago, Darryl and his parents were kicked out. His parents have been living in the countryside ever since. Darryl would visit them every few days. Darryl, I've heard from your uncle a few days ago that he handed the Platinum Corporation over to you. I couldn't believe it, so I had to come here and see it for myself. Daniel laughed brightly. So you're really the president of Platinum Corporation? Asked his mother, Luna. Darryl nodded, and explained, Dad, Mom. The thing that happened 3 years ago has been settled. We reconciled. Uncle Drake was the one that passed over Platinum Corporation to me. He laughed comfortably. For the past 3 years, I've made you too worried. Now that things have passed, for the last 2 days, I was just thinking about how I should bring this up to you when you both came. Daniel let out a sigh of relief. He said emotionally, it's great that the misunderstanding has been cleared. We won't have to worry and be at ease. Darryl nodded. He offered. Dad, Mom, since you're here, don't go back to the countryside. Though the countryside is quiet, and the air is fresh, it's not easy getting around. Daniel thought for a while, looked at Luna, and nodded. All right, your mom and I will return to the mansion. We've missed the clan very much since we've not seen them for a very long time. I'll send you there. Darryl offered. Daniel waved his hands and said, don't worry about it. You're busy managing a corporation. Furthermore, your mom and I have not been to the city in such a long time. We'd like to explore around. Don't worry about us, go get busy. At his father's insistence, Darryl gave in. After they left, Darryl took out his clay jar and started the production of the godly pill. Donghai's seaside. The Darby mansion. 2 servants were standing at the door when a rental car appeared. A middle-aged couple came down. Looking at the mansion, Daniel and Luna felt sentimental. Master Daniel, Lady Luna. The 2 servants were shocked. They quickly greeted them, then ran up to welcome them. 10 minutes later, the Darby clan patriarch Drake, followed by Florian, Yumi, and the rest arrived at living room. Drake, with an expression of gratification, chuckled at Daniel. Second brother, you finally thought it through. It's great to have you back. I'll get my men to tidy up your rooms. 3 years ago, when Darryl and his parents were kicked out of the Darby clan, Drake felt guilty. Daniel replied happily, brother, don't have to be polite with me. This is my home. Why would I not come back? I came back because I heard that the misunderstanding with Darryl has been cleared up, so I came to see for myself. At the mention of Darryl, the Darby clan's expression darkened. Jackson's face was especially bitter. A few days have passed since Jackson's wedding. News of Rebecca being defiled by Darryl has spread like wildfire. Darryl Darby brings a bad name to them. You 3 were kicked out 3 years ago. How dare you come back now? Yumi stomped her high heels at them. Daniel's expression soured. What are you talking about? Yumi snickered and said, to tell you the truth, your good son Darryl emptied our family funds and bought shares in a petroleum company. Now Hestel has the face to do shameless deeds. Yumi continued, him marrying into the Lindens has brought us a lot of shame. Who knew he had such an ugly heart, that he would do such a thing as committing incest? At that, Luna could not sit no longer. She frowned. My son. What happened? Please explain. Yumi hinted at Florian. Florian approached them and said, Aunt and Uncle, I'm sure you have not heard. Darryl raped Rebecca on their wedding night. What? As if struck by lightning, Daniel and Luna stood up at the same time. Luna defended her son and said, impossible. Darryl is not that type of person. She shook her head in disbelief. Hey, Jackson, why don't you tell them what happened? Florian sniggered. Jackson approached them and said slowly, Aunt, Uncle, the evidence on the scene all points to Daryl. He was the one that raped my wife. This was a huge blow to Daniel. He slumped back onto the chair. You've heard it from Jackson himself. How could it be fake? Who knows what else such an immoral person like Daryl would do? If he were my son, I would have disowned him a long time ago, and I'd never return to the Darby clan. I wouldn't be as shameless as you two. Yumi exclaimed slyly. She got meaner, and said Elle heard that Lily Linden would not let Daryl touch her for 3 years now. I guess he can't control himself at the sight of women. He would even touch his own sibling's wife. Is he even still a person? Kicking you 3 out of the family 3 years ago was the best decision we've made, yet you have the face to come back. My son would never do such a thing. Daniel coughed, thumping on his chest. The others sneered. The entire family knows about your son defiling his siblings. Yeah, you're a good son. Like father, like son. You did not educate your son properly, yet you dare come back to the Darby family. You all 3 are rotten apples. Daniel's eyes turned red. He pointed to everyone and shouted, "Everyone shut up. My son would never dash." At that he shuddered and fell to the floor in spasms, frothing around the mouth.
For more episode, don't forget to subscribe.